Jerry Springer, Fights, Camera, Action sheds light on some of the darkest and most challenging aspects of the globally popular talk show, with first-hand accounts unpacking the stories behind the scenes. Netflix has built up an impressive catalog of documentaries covering a wide variety of topics, and once again, the platform has become the home of another great investigative documentary. Going behind the scenes of one of the most controversial shows ever to air on TV, Jerry Springer, Fights, Camera, Action goes into incredible detail across 2 episodes. Jerry Springer is infamous for the eye-catching headlines and intense brawls that would break out on set. However, the show came from pretty humble origins as a standard talk show. But to compete in the ratings, the Jerry Springer Show had to set itself apart somehow. With the aid of Richard Dominic, who came from the world of tabloids and flashy headlines, the show underwent an enormous transformation. Despite the success that followed, there are disputes about the morality of such a show, and the documentary attempts to examine all of this and more in detail. Despite his association with the show that made him a household name, Jerry Springer was generally considered a pretty likable person. However, the man was the face and name of a show that inspired countless debates and arguments as it continuously pushed boundaries. In Fights, Camera, Action, the evolution of the show and the progression and development of Springer's career are tantalizingly explored. Neatly maps out how the show changed from an innocent talk show into something that was in a league of its own. This is incredibly useful as it establishes the foundation for the show in the modern format, neatly mapping out how it changed from an innocent talk show into something in a league of its own. And this transition provides one of the most interesting aspects of the documentary's deep dive. But beyond that, Fights, Camera, Action also sheds light on why the show succeeded for so long despite the intense backlash from the public. In doing so, it also highlights some of the most absurd and intense cases from the Jerry Springer Show. As a result, the documentary is thorough in its investigation and provides excellent sources, with executive producer Richard Dominic and several other producers being interviewed. With these pieces in place and the contributors being of such a high quality, the docuseries is incredibly put together, thoroughly well-researched, and deeply insightful regarding what was going on behind and in front of the camera during the show's run. While many documentaries will attempt to explore one side or cover one bias over another, Jerry Springer, Fights, Camera, Action leaves its conclusions unspoken. Contributors suggest their ideas, but we're ultimately given the choice to decide what is right and wrong. This is achieved thanks to the inclusion of people on both sides of the debate, and the documentary using these first-hand accounts to tell its story. To tie it all together, the documentary includes clips from the original show and some dramatic reenactments of key moments. The result is a highly engaging, authentic, and raw account of how Jerry Springer affected the lives of others and, crucially, why it was so successful. The show is widely deemed as trash TV, even to those who watch it repeatedly. But the reality is that the show harbors something darker than the intense fights that happen on screen. It held a mirror up to society as we watched and engaged with content that seemingly praised and highlighted the worst parts of it. The quality of the documentary is fantastic overall, with great interviews and a consistent narrative that makes it fluid throughout both episodes. However, the fact that it was broken up into 2 shorter episodes rather than simply being one feature-length documentary is odd. Regardless, Jerry Springer, Fights, Camera, Action manages to take a show that has been explored in the media time and again and provide new insights, spark thoughtful conversations, and expose details that have remained hidden for too long, all with incredible flair.